Hey guys, Brandon Dawson here with the Tribe of Christians. Today is Tuesday, May 27th, 2025, and I got some updates to share with you guys. Had a very unusual, different day of some things that was sensing going on in the spiritual realm and the prophetic realms over the nation. So, gonna talk about, try to put into words what I felt today, how to describe it the best that I can. So, when I, usually after Memorial Day, you have a massive, holiday weekend. Some people take, the Friday and Monday off. You got, 4 days off, and then it's back to work. Work as usual, business as usual. And, you get up in the morning, you start your routine and don't think anything of it and just head in. Well, today was not one of those days. It was very different. And I don't know how else to explain this to you guys. It's very unusual and weird when this happens. But the first things first, I just felt that everything was wrong. There was some things that just felt very wrong. It felt like a very, very off day, off morning. I felt very out there and just felt this sense of something very wrong going on. And the last time I felt anywhere near remotely close to this was September 7th of 2023. Actually, that entire week of September of 2023, that week of the 7th. And I just recently shared a video on that. But the last time I felt anything remotely close to this was that time frame. So this is not normal or usual for me. So anyways, the last time, again, I sensed anything remotely close to this was September 2023, a month right before the deadly October 7th Hamas attacks. So that's why I'm putting this out there. I have several words in videos that talk about Memorial Day weekend, some things I'm sensing that are connected to Israel. They're connected to Russia. They're connected to China. A lot of it connected to what's going on in Gaza and the Middle East. And so, thankfully, nothing happened this Memorial Day. Nothing at all, at least that I'm aware of, happened anywhere near this Memorial weekend. And that's a great thing. However, I'm going to explain to you what I'm sensing and what I'm feeling. So, again, last night I was just going to sleep and I was telling my wife, nothing happened. Thankfully, nothing happened, because you pray that actually these things that you put out there don't come to pass. They're conditional words. But I think I'm starting to think that maybe I spoke a little too soon, because again, today, I just felt very, very, very off, and it felt like something was horrifically wrong. So it kind of reminds me of a resume. Everything looks good on paper. We're doing all the right things. We're heading in the right direction, at least, so to speak, quote unquote, for the economy and the nation. But underneath it all, it just feels like it's just something's really wrong. Things are going massively wrong. And it reminds me of a train that gets derailed, it gets off course. It reminds me of a car that's maybe on the outside looks nice, but under the hood, its engine's all messed up, it's barely running. It also kind of reminds me of, maybe you got this really nice house on the outside, all the lights and everything looks great, but you get in, it's just a horrific wreck. So it's like on the outside and on the appearance, everything looks fine, but on the inside, it just feels like we are massively off course, and that something horrific, very, very horrific is about to happen or is already in the works. Just like the last time, except I just feel that much, much, much worse. And I don't want to put this out there because I hate for this to be the case. But today, it felt like we were living under a wartime economy, right? We've kind of been at war for a long time. The war that's going on in Europe and all that stuff, and then with Israel. But this felt different. This felt like a global war. This felt like a massive, like a World War III kind of thing, a wartime economy. Our manufacturers were manufacturing things for ammo, for weapons, for troop supplies, things like that. It felt like a massive wartime economy, meaning our nation is up and running, but in reality, we're not really there. So we're somewhere else. And that's the feeling that I got today. It felt like that we were attacked, a massive, massive attack. And this wasn't just a terroristic attack. This was an actual true military attack against the nation. And I wish I could tell you when it's going to happen. I can't, because I have no idea. I just know what I sensed and what I felt. And so today, it just felt off. I cannot put words to describe it. I felt almost outer body experience that something is very off, very wrong. Again, people having no idea what's about to happen and what's coming. We have about 5 days left, if you include today, of the month, and I have a lot of words that go back to talking about a warning for May, all the way through for the months of May, June, July, all the way through until September. Massive warnings all across. Things could happen at any moment, and we're seeing not a de-escalation, but we're seeing massive escalations of things going on with Russia as well as in Israel. And even with China, you know, you go back and you look at World War I, World War II, and you look at when, you know, even Japan attacked and bombed Pearl Harbor. We are in active peace negotiations with Japan when that happened, unsuspecting. And I'm telling you, I think that's what's coming, just exactly as the Bible tells us. And I had this thought. I had this thought the other day when we talk about the Ezekiel war, 37 and 38. When this massive Ezekiel war, the Gog and Magog war, the coalition of nations that come against Israel, we look at that pretext, preluding it, and it talks about Israel living in peace and safety without, you know, walls, unsuspecting people, unsuspecting of anything happening. And I kept having the thought about the United States. Now, the United States did not replace Israel. That's replacement theology. I'm completely against that. You know, the Bible does not say the church replaces Israel. However, there are massive connections that we have to Israel, and I just kept hearing and feeling and sensing, reading that context. Well, we don't really have walls. I mean, we're kind of trying to build them at the borders, but we are completely unsuspecting. We fit a lot of the similarities of that pretext, the pretext of the Gog and Magog war. We're very confident, and in many cases overconfident, and so many warnings have come out, especially with our nuclear arsenal compared to China and other nations. And we're extremely, extremely vulnerable. And I don't think people realize how vulnerable the nation is right now, thanks to just years of horrific neglect. And I think a massive attack is about to happen. I think we are about to be attacked. And I hate to say this, President Trump says that these wars wouldn't have happened if he was president. I don't know. But all I know is that these wars are not ending. And there's a reason for that. I talked about that in several videos. A reason why these wars are still going on and how they are going to end. I've told you guys exactly how these wars are going to end. And you know what? All these other guys have missed it, not gotten it right. And the Lord has never let me down to this day. Things that He's revealed and showed us. So I don't think we're going to have a de-escalation. I think we're going to have massive escalations. And I'm telling you guys, just because I love you, I want you guys to be prepared, be alert, especially those of you up north in the northeastern part, especially New York, Washington, those areas. You guys need to take some precautions. And summertime, people are usually out and traveling about this summer. I don't know. If it was me personally, I would take vacations maybe on the other side of the country, not to the eastern side of the nation. Especially stay away from Europe. Definitely stay away from Europe, because Russia's not going to stop. I've got many videos that warn about Europe, what's going to happen to Europe and the Baltic nations and all that. And I could do a whole video on that, and I can explain to you why. I could go in. Maybe it has something to do with the horrific votes that these nations have continuously to vote against God's word, to threaten Israel, to vote against Israel, to vote against God, or to abstain from voting. So, man, there's a rude awakening coming. Many of these countries over there in Europe, France, definitely France, you guys are going to have a horrific awakening, but the United States has one coming too. So anyways, I just put the warning out, and if you guys have any feedback, anything you want to share, let me know. Send me an email, get in contact through our website, leave a comment below. Very interested to hear your thoughts on this. Anyways, just wanted to put the video out there. Guys, just pay attention, be alert, be intuitive, trust your instincts, because they're generally right. Anyways, as always, keep running the race, keep fighting the good fight of faith, and guys, never lose hope, never give up.